I'm going to address this school shooting very briefly here. I don't generally want to get involved with any of this crap, but a few years ago I made a video, and it may be 6, 7, 8 years ago, maybe even longer, where I talked about the glass at the school. They were putting in their new security doors at my local school, and when I went to school at that public school, there were glass doors, aluminum with glass doors, and the glass doors were adorned with a type of glass that prevented entry by nefarious people. It had chicken wire inside of the glass in the doors. Now, it just irks the hell out of me that so many years ago I discussed how that chicken wire would have saved these children's lives in an active shooter situation. I have little William here, and I have no confidence in the public school to keep my kids safe. And this was a private school that this so-called trans idiot went into and and killed these 6 people. 3 children, 3 adults, and of course ultimately was deceased by the local police department, which was the best thing to have happen to her. Whatever it was. What it was a mentally deranged idiot who was unhappy with her life and apparently felt that she needed to go and kill a bunch of kids and teachers at a Christian school where she attended some 15 years prior. So this may even be somewhere around 10 years ago that I made this video. I didn't videotape the interaction I had with the security system installer or the new security door installer, but I did have a conversation with him, and I said, "So what's going on here? Are these bulletproof windows?" "Oh no, they're not. It's a set of double doors so that when you ring in to the office, that they will allow you to go in." I said, "So what's to prevent someone from shooting the glass out and entering the school?" He says, "Well, really nothing. It just adds a little bit of safety to someone, to the school for someone who wants to, say, kidnap a child. It is not really going to prevent a shooter from killing a bunch of kids and students, because it just doesn't do that. Go shut that door right now. It doesn't prevent that." I was like, "So you took out the doors that would prevent a shooter from shooting out the glass and entering the school, and you put in this nonsense so that what is it for?" He says, "Well, the chicken wire or the chicken wire mesh inside of those windows were not sightly. They were an eyesore. They weren't aesthetically pleasing." Well, how's the blood on the carpet? Is that aesthetically pleasing? How about those families that just got their lives taken away from them by some sick, deranged idiot with a firearm? And let's put it this way. The firearm isn't to blame here. The blame is solely on the person wielding the firearm. I've never killed anyone. I've got plenty of firearms. I know how to handle them. My children never killed anyone. They know how to use firearms. This guy here, he will learn how to use a firearm when he is of the appropriate age. It's just a shitty excuse to blame a so-called assault weapon. This is a glasses case. I could go assault somebody with it, and then it's a weapon. Could I kill somebody with this? Probably not. But my camera here, if I repeatedly struck them in the head with it, it would then become an assault camera, and I could kill somebody with that thing. So it really hurts my feelings and makes me sick to my stomach to see the footage from this deranged idiot from the trans community. And here's another thing. Because it wasn't a white male, Republican white male, or a middle-aged white male that did this, how long is it going to take before the Democrats or the trans-loving side of our country buries this case? Because there have been other trans people, transgendered, actually pretenders, we'll just call them pretenders, that have committed these atrocities, and you don't even hear about them. You hear about the 2 from Columbine the most. You hear about these Uvalde because it was so tragic. You hear about the mailman that went into the, I think it was a mailman, went into that Amish school and killed all those kids, killed them all. But those were, white males, radicalized white males, as they like to call them. But there have been a slew of these mentally deranged, gender-confused people that have done this as well. It's just not well known because, well, it doesn't fit the agenda that we can destroy family values and make these pretenders or these gender-confused people the norm. I don't know if you all know or anything, but I went to a Christian school. I went to a Christian school where I learned all about, treating people right with respect and all this stuff. We had on that church that I went to chicken wire mesh, and those doors were locked when we went in there. You had to ring the doorbell and someone would come to the door and greet you. Now, if somebody came to the door and greeted you and they could see through that chicken wire mesh, now I'm telling you, it was only this wide. I mean, wide and tall. A person could look out there. Yes, they could be shot. They could be shot through the glass, but they're not going to gain entry through that wall or that glass. It would be impossible. The security on a school is so ridiculously minimal. It is for honest people. It's not for the criminal mind or the deranged mind. It's not to stop those types of people. If you want to really keep our children safe, you put in security measures like chicken wire mesh. What was it? 12 minutes from the time the 911 call went out till the time the police showed up, 17 minutes before that person was dead on the ground. 17 minutes. Okay. If it was a chicken wire mesh wall of glass, she could have shot into it. It would have taken an axe and a whole lot of time to actually cut through that chicken wire mesh, because when you shoot through that stuff, that glass is held together. It doesn't just fall away like that nonsense that they shot through on film yesterday. That was nonsense. 2 bullets and it was all out of the way. All that person had to do, that woman pretending to be a man, had to do was duck the push bar to unlock the door to gain entry. That's all she had to do. And that's all she did. Chicken wire mesh, 10 minutes of hacking through that with an axe. If she would have brought the axe, then she would have been exhausted because, let's face it, these people, they're just a bunch of lazy fat slobs that have nothing in their life better to do than to go kill kids at a school. They would have been exhausted. In the time that it would have took to chop through that chicken wire mesh, to twice, not once, but twice, because you'd have had to do it twice, that person would have never gained entry into that school. All those children would have been alive just because it's not aesthetically pleasing. We are burying 6 people unnecessarily. And I made that video a bunch of years ago explaining that that is stupid and how stupid it is that they took that stuff down. And I'm going to tell you, that little boy that's running around here, he's not going to public school. He's not going to public school because I have a better chance of taking care of my son and keeping him safe than any government official, any of these idiotic politicians that take the safety precautions out of our school because it's aesthetically not pleasing. My dad says it the best. College can't cure stupid. Some college-educated asshole made our children unsafe. That's a fact. That's a fact. Anyway, I'm aggravated. These kids didn't need to die. None of these kids need to die. None of them. Your safety precautions are toilet paper against Genghis Khan, you idiots.